For modern CPA firms, there's a huge strategic shift happening right now, and it's what separates the firms that are just getting by from the ones that are really scaling up. We're going to talk about outsourcing, but probably not in the way you're used to thinking about it. Forget simple cost cutting. Today, we're looking at how it's become a serious engine for growth. So let's just start with a really important question. Think about it. You hire these top-tier, brilliant accountants for their strategic minds, right? But where are their hours actually going? Because every single hour one of your senior associates spends on tedious data entry is an hour they aren't billing at a premium advisory rate. And that's not just a time sink. That's a direct hit to your bottom line. And this slide, well, it lays out the painful reality for so many firms. Your most valuable assets, your people, are getting buried under this mountain of low-value, repetitive work. And the result? Your growth engine just sputters. There's simply no time, no capacity for the strategic, high-margin advisory work that actually moves the needle for your clients and for your firm. It's a tough cycle to be stuck in. But what if you could just flip that script entirely? The key here is a really powerful mental shift. You've got to stop seeing outsourcing as just another expense line item. Instead, start seeing it as a strategic investment that turns your biggest overhead, your team's time, into your greatest asset for growth. This comparison really shows the two different paths a firm can take. Over on the left, you've got the traditional model. Super high fixed costs, your best people are just trapped in the weeds, and the whole firm is constantly playing defense, just reacting to things. But now look to the right, at the strategic model. Suddenly you have access to scalable expert teams, which frees up your in-house talent to become proactive, growth-driving advisors. This isn't just a small tweak, it's a total overhaul of how you operate. And this quote from our source material, man, it just nails the modern perspective. Outsourcing isn't just about saving a few bucks anymore. It's about enabling your firm to operate at a much higher level, unlocking new efficiencies, and most importantly, real growth potential. It's a direct investment in your firm's future. Okay, so that's the high-level strategy. But what does this actually look like day to day? Let's get practical and talk about the actual tasks that are perfect candidates for outsourcing, the ones that are going to give you the biggest return on investment in terms of reclaimed time and focus. First up, let's talk about the engine room of the firm, daily operations. Bookkeeping, AP and AR, payroll, these are the high-volume, super repetitive tasks that just eat up countless hours. Outsourcing them doesn't just get them done. It creates a reliable, efficient foundation that all your higher-value work can be built on. Next, you've got the non-negotiables, all the reporting and compliance work. Things like financial statements, tax prep support, reconciliations. They have to be perfect, but they're very process-driven. Offloading this kind of work to a specialized team frees your senior advisors from ticking boxes on compliance checklists so they can focus on actual strategic tax planning. And look, this whole strategy scales up. It's not just about the basics. You can get on-demand access to some really advanced and specialized skills. Need some audit support or a deep dive on management analytics? Outsourcing gives you that expertise without the six-figure salary and long-term commitment of a full-time hire. It's a game changer. Okay, so I know what you're probably thinking. A shift this big is going to bring up some very practical, very real questions. So let's just tackle the most critical ones head on, right now. You're going to hear the term white label a lot. The best way to think of it is like a ghostwriter for your firm. An expert team does all the back-end work, the bookkeeping, the report generation, but everything your client sees is delivered under your firm's trusted brand. It's totally seamless. It's like an extension of your own team, and it protects and even enhances your client relationships. All right, let's talk about the big one. This is, without a doubt, the number one concern for any CPA firm, as it should be. Your clients trust you with their most sensitive financial information, so security is absolutely non-negotiable. And the answer, when you choose the right partner, is a very clear and definite yes. See, professional outsourcing providers build their entire business on a foundation of trust and security. We're talking bank-level encryption, strict access controls, and super rigorous compliance protocols to make sure your client data is always protected. Another thing I hear all the time is this really for me? Is this just a game for the big firms? Is it really a viable strategy if you're a smaller boutique practice? Oh, absolutely. In fact, you could argue that small firms stand to gain the most. Outsourcing is the ultimate equalizer.
It gives you immediate access to a deep bench of specialists on a flexible, scalable basis. It lets you compete with much larger firms without taking on their crippling overhead.
So, how do you decide what stays and what goes? Well, the framework is actually pretty simple. You keep what makes your firm unique, your secret sauce. That's the strategic decision making, the core client advisory, and all the relationship management. Then, you outsource the essential but standardized work, the routine tasks, the data heavy processing, and the compliance driven workflows that support your core mission.
All right, let's zoom out for a second and look at the really big picture. When you successfully put this strategy into place, what's the ultimate outcome? It's about completely redefining what your firm is even capable of achieving.
If you take away only one thing from this explainer, please let it be this. The single most important goal of all of this is to focus your best, most expensive people on your most valuable, highest margin work. Everything else we've talked about is just a tool to help you achieve that one critical objective. So I'll leave you with a challenge, a question to really think about. Take a hard look at your firm and ask yourself, if you outsource the routine, what could your best people truly achieve? What new advisory services could you launch? How much faster could you grow? That's the real potential just waiting to be unlocked.